The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right, let's do a 10-minute drill, sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. And at the very end of this, we're going to give out a little prize pack because that's what we like to do, Beef. What are we doing today?
Well, it's the season of giving, Dan, and we're going to hook one lucky Guggen up with a floral arrangement with delivery from our friends over at Kuhn Flowers, and we'll let them get fat and happy with lunch or dinner for two at Chick-fil-A.
Before we get into, as we feed off of the trivia segment we just did, I chuckled from this on the 1010XL text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. There's a sitcom about the Jaguars that airs on Sundays. It's called Suckish.
Touche.
Sometimes you wish you
hard
would
to
come
argue.
over the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Hick, Tom Block, who's pretty tight end over there at FSU, he's spent his whole career in Tallahassee.
Yes, he has.
And is,
Nice man.
probably is aware of what's the inner workings over there in the FSU athletic program as anyone. And he basically said yesterday on Frangie Show, terrific afternoon program with our old friend Lauren Brooks.
Yes.
He's now on that show.
Hayes Carlion,
Correct.
also on that program.
I think it's Carleone, but whatever.
One-on-ones with Hayes Carlion.
Correct.
Curlian.
I'm here with Jamar Taylor.
Gibby's on that program as well.
Or Jawan.
Who?
Gibby.
Yeah, Andrew
Andrew
Gibson.
Gibson.
Never heard of him.
Gibby actually is the producer, and he cut the track that I'm referencing. But anyway, as we just get sillier,
Okay.
Tom Block says that FSU is going to name a coach the Monday after the Florida game, and that it will be a coach who is currently a Power 5 head coach.
Okay.
Where would you guess, with those being the parameters, understanding that there's a bottom level of coaches that aren't going to ever get the FSU job, and there's a top level of coaches that aren't going to take the FSU job. So that middle ground, what would be the best choices in your mind? And then I'll tell you who I would hire if I were they.
If you're any coach, any Division I coach in the country whose name's being kicked around for FSU, would you wait to see what happens in SoCal first?
With USC?
Yeah.
Well, if you're up for that job, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're
Urban's getting that job. I mean, they'd be foolish not to hire him. So I don't know if I would turn down FSU to see if I could
first off, I don't know that Urban's getting that job.
But I'm potentially could battle him for it. So I'm going to
You're not battling for it. If Urban wants it, Urban gets it.
Well,
but in the circles of coaching, they sort of know what's up. So my question is, if you're Matt Campbell or you're James Franklin or one of those type guys who could, or PJ Fleck, and there's going to be job openings, do you wait to see? If you're them, do you put them off? Do you say, well, listen, I'm not doing anything till the season's over?
Well, the season will be over when they do this, but
Right.
yeah.
Point
No,
being that what's
I-
the point of getting ahead of the game by
Well, if I'm James Franklin, maybe. I'm not. Why would I ever go from Penn State to FSU? James Franklin doesn't make sense to me.
Again, that's not my point.
Oh, well, I thought it was. Who are
It's
we
a
talking
simple
about?
point. Do you
Okay.
wait for USC?
No, I don't. That's my
Okay.
simple answer. Right.
I do.
I think you're-
USC's a better gig. I'd rather go to USC than FSU.
I don't know if I completely agree that you just carte blanche USC is a better gig, but if I'm up for the FSU job and I want the FSU job, I'm going to take it no matter what happens with the USC job, I guess.
Okay.
USC has been every bit as volatile as Florida State. It may not have the Florida State's been a much better football program for the last 30 years. Much better. I mean, right? Not even close.
You think FSU's a better job than USC?
I think FSU's a better team than USC. I don't know the
FSU's a better team than USC?
Hick, since 1980.
FSU is not a better team than USC, friend. Right now?
Not today.
That's what you. I'm confused.
Well, let me settle it for you.
Yeah,
Let's look at FSU versus USC in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And FSU's won 40 more games than they have. They've won the same amount of national titles.
Okay.
They've had a higher ranking every year, year after year after year.
Yeah.
They've been to the playoff. They've done everything. They actually contend with upper-level teams where USC loses 55-10. I mean, FSU is a much, to me, better team than USC. Not today, but year to year,
I want to say
FSU.
program then.
Well, but if I say that, then you're going to quibble with me about what is their facilities and all that.
I don't think they're
I'm trying
better.
to come up with a term.
Because I don't think they're better. You could say over 30 years, but I think LA, USC, you can win there just as easily as you can win at FSU, I think it's a no-brainer. But I guess if that's your point,
USC, I don't know what USC you're talking about. The one where Pete Carroll cheated and they won for a couple of years? Because every other year, USC's terrible. They underachieve every year. They never win.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't been to a major bowl in forever. They're not even anywhere near being in the playoff. I mean, maybe, USC was a great job in the 70s and the 60s, but I don't know why it would be. I mean, you're also in a town that really it's hard to drum up passion. I think if you're winning at a high level at FSU, you're the only game in town.
I'm pretty sure during the Leinart Bush days, the Coliseum was packed.
That's a long time ago.
I understand.
So I don't. Again, I'm sure that if we ranked all-time programs, all-time,
right,
USC would be ranked ahead of Florida State.
Yeah.
But if you're a big-time coach and everything else is the same, the money is the same, because I would disagree. It's easier to win at
the money wouldn't be the same.
It's easier to win at well, then that's another variable. Yeah. So that's why.
No, that's fine. You disagree. That's fine.
Back to the point.
That's the only reason I was bringing it up, because I'm saying if I'm Matt Campbell or PJ Fleck, those are the big names. You want names. Well, those, and I don't know that Matt Campbell's ready to leave. They have always said Matt Campbell's more of a wait for Notre Dame guy, or that type situation. So,
what about Les Miles? Why wouldn't he be perfect? Doesn't win enough at a high enough level?
Oh no.
Too short a stint at Kansas?
My only concern about Les Miles would be, and this may be unfair, but he's sort of archaic on the offensive side of the ball. Kind of ground and pound, and he wins. He won a natty, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't rule out Les Miles.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would be interested in Les Miles.
If it were me and I were FSU, the guy I would want them to get is the program reclaimer who will have them winning 11 games in 3 years guaranteed. That's Matt Rule of Baylor. Matt Rule went to Temple and built them into a 11-2 kind of team.
Yeah.
Then he went to Baylor, and it took about 2-3 years, and suddenly they're every bit as good as Oklahoma, by the way. That game the other day was just back and forth, and they'll play again in the championship game, and it'll be a close game again. So I would really like Matt Rule, and but I don't know how much.
I told you that Matt Rule had some sort of NFL.
Does he? Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard that Matt Rule might be an NFL guy one day. That the league liked him, but they also liked the Campbell guy at Iowa State, who's shown no inclination to. He's probably getting to the point where Matt Campbell at Iowa State this year. Iowa State, I want to get this right. I think they've lost like 3 or 4 games, but they've all been like one possession games.
Oh no, he's
made Iowa State tremendously.
You're at Iowa State.
Yeah, he's made them tremendously competitive.
And you're going to get guys to come year after year to Ames, Iowa.
He lost to Iowa 18-17. He lost to Baylor 23-21. He lost to Oklahoma State 34-27. He lost to Oklahoma 42-41 when he went for 2. Right? Didn't he go for 2 in that game? That's one. That's 2 1-point and 1 2-point
and
loss.
a touchdown game.
And a touchdown game.
Yeah, he's a very good coach.
And
he
beat
him.
Texas.
Well, and when this shop first opened, Vegas had him as the favorite.
Yeah.
And so if it is a Power 5, I would assume he's coming from the Big 12 or the Pac-10, because those are Pac-12, whatever they are now, because that seems to be where the biggest likelihood. No one who's coming from the SEC. There's no SEC coach right now. Platform. FSU should never hire Mark Stoops. That is just the dumbest thing all along. You're not hiring Bob Stoops. Mark Stoops, we go crazy for Mark Stoops because he makes a Gator Bowl, and I just don't get it, dude. Your challenge at FSU is to catch Clemson is almost as big as the challenge at Kentucky to catch Georgia or Florida or anyone else.
Well, you can. Yeah, Kentucky's a lot tougher place to win than
FSU.
FSU.
It is, for sure.
I think Mark Stoops had a good job this year because he's lost every quarterback he's got. He's got some wide receiver.
That's true.
He's going to get him bowl
eligible.
eligible.
The record is bottomed out, but you're right.
It would be 4 straight bowl games for him. Taxslayer, Music City, Citrus. He did get 10-win season in Kentucky. He's pretty impressive. I kind of tend to agree with you, but I'm not 100%. I would for sure interview the guy. See what he's got.
Yeah,
what we could talk about with the program.
It's just interesting because that narrative is out there.
The problem at FSU,
they have to have somebody in mind.
Dude, there's a problem at FSU. The guy who's hiring you is going to be leaving. The AD and the president are both leaving. What kind of assurances am I going to get of the next AD?
Well, none of that's
Who
changing,
would take that job?
Well, I don't. I don't know. And the problem
who's running the program?
Look, this is
what's going on over there?
This is a very important perception hire too. You can't just go. you better not rifle through 4 invites and no one takes it, and then you settle for a guy like Taggart, who's like middle of the pack in a Power 5.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the vision over there? There's some concern that the men making up the search committee don't know enough about football to do it right.
Right.
I'm hearing that from out of Tallahassee, that they're not exactly confident in the competence of the guys that are making the decision.
Mm-hmm.
But could this be a tipping point for Florida State football? Heck, did you see the crowd the other day, man?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been that way, though, this
year. It'll stay that way if
Yes.
you don't hire a guy who doesn't come in and go 10-2.
Oh, there's no doubt.
You know,
you're staring. You're on the ledge.
You
looking
hire
at the
wrong
abyss.
guy here and go 4-8 next year, and then suddenly you're Wake Forest for a few years.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So I don't know.
It's an important hire, to say the least.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. What do you make of Mike White addressing the elephant in the room? I think it's smart with the young team to say, "Hey, look, guys, the world's not over. I know you read all your press clippings, and I know you thought you were great, and we were top 5, and we have not played well, but the season's not over, so." Come on back to me here a little bit.
They play tomorrow at 2 o'clock against St. Joseph's. I'll say this. I saw a statistic on it. I don't have it in front of me, but the wide open looks field goal percentage this year versus last year, and they weren't a great shooting team last year. It's tough to look at.
Locke and
They cannot
Nimhart
shoot.
and Mann and Lewis have got to shoot the basketball.
You gotta
and,
shoot.
And Blackshear's got to stop shooting threes. Knock it off.
Yeah.
Oof.
They are. If you look at their 3-point field goal percentage, it is.
LeBron had a triple-double last night against the Thunder, which makes him the only one who's done it against every team. How impressive is that to you?
It's impressive, man. LeBron is adding to his, LeBron got fueled by all the talk last year, and he's come out, and he's also got a much better team. So there's some positives going on with LeBron James and the Lakers, and they're better than I thought they would be. I'll say that out of the gate. They look more like, and with Golden State's demise, they look like, to me, like a 1 or 2 seed at worst in the West. Would you concur?
Well, they got the best record in the NBA. They will be a 1 or 2
Beef,
seed.
do you concur? 1 or 2 seed in the West?
I'll tell you what else
I
is.
concur, Dr. Connor.
It's funny how just the Warriors getting worse has seemingly dumbed down the entire conference. It looks like
Weird,
a 3-team
isn't it?
conference.
Yeah.
Like in years past, this year it's the Rockets,
Clippers, Lakers.
Right. In the years past, Denver,
Yeah.
Portland.
What's up
and
with Denver, man?
Golden State.
I had them as a pick.
Yeah,
They're
I know you
ticking
did.
me off.
Yeah, they're not playing well.
No.
Jokic looks kind of slow and lethargic to me. I don't know if it's too much off-season basketball, but he hasn't played like that elite player, at least a little bit that
I
I've
guess
seen.
they're 9-3.
Are they?
Yeah,
that's
so I
surprising.
take it back. They're not as
Yeah.
bad as I thought.
Yeah,
All right.
no, that's
My bad. All right, Denver, you keep doing
that's
what
fair.
you do.
All right, we'll come back. We'll do the top 5. We'll see what's trending today.
All right.
Before we go to break, and before I give the Googans a chance to win, I'll just get this speed trap out real quick.
Yeah.
We got Ponce and John underneath 295 at I-10. So
All right.
yeah, if you're out there where the Beltway interchanges with I-10, then keep those speeds down and keep that cash in your pocket with that drill speed trap alert.
And if you're quick on the dial today, first caller, 641-1010. You're taking home what, Beef?
You're taking home a floral arrangement with delivery from our friends at Kuhn Flowers and lunch or dinner for 2 from Chick-fil-A.